I'm the investigator, and I got a news story for you. How about the boy Trump is talking about trying to deport U.S. citizens legally? You hear me? Our president is trying to deport U.S. citizens legally out of the United States. You know how wild that is? Let's get into it. So, in a story by the Hidden Times, Trump to report. I don't know really how to pronounce this, but I'll put it like right here. So, Trump to deport U.S. citizens to El Salvador. Rep. Eric Swalwell makes massive claim. So let's see. Okay. So earlier today on social media, I saw this video of this representative. He was like whistleblowing to the fact that the House representatives had just voted to allow Trump to send U.S. citizens to a foreign country in deportation wise. But I really didn't listen to it, so I didn't have a lot of background. But when I kept seeing it, I'm like, okay. Maybe this is a story that I should partake in. So let's see. Trump, by a story by NBC News says Trump looking. This one is from. These stories kind of go together. They definitely go together, but they weren't written at the same time. This was from April 14th, 2025. Today is May 1st. And so Trump looking into legitimacy of deporting U.S. citizens to foreign prisons, White House says. So this is before today, well, really yesterday, April 29th. Or was it April 30th? Whatever the last day in April. This is leading up to it, so some backstory, really. This was published on April 15th, 2025 by the CNBC. So there's some key points. President Trump is exploring whether the law allows him to deport United States citizens to prisons in Central America countries, the White House said. Trump has said he would like to send homegrown criminals to notorious prisons in El Salvador, where the U.S. House has already deported some non-citizens. Trump administration officials said that they cannot compel El Salvador to return Kelmar Abrego Garcia, who was deported from the U.S. to his native country due to an admitted administrative error. I'm so confused. What? Trump administration officials said they cannot compel El Salvador to return Kelmar Garcia, who was deported from the U.S. to his native country due to admitted administrative error. What? Oh, so this guy named Kelmar was deported? And they want him to be sent back to his home country? So they want this Kelmar guy to come back to the United States? That's what it sounds like. Okay, so President Trump is exploring whether he can legally deport U.S. citizens to prisons in Central American countries, the White House says Tuesday. Quote, it's another question that the president has raised, end quote. Press Secretary Carolyn Levite said when a reporter asked if Trump currently has the power to send Americans to foreign prisons or would need to change the law to do so. So a reporter asked Carolyn, hey, does Trump need to change the laws in order to deport people? And her response was, it's another question that the president has already raised. So she just answered the question with a question. She didn't really answer the question. She just said that's a question that the president already asked them. And that was it. But she didn't answer the question. Okay. Continue reading. Is this an article? No, that's not a. It is, quote, it's a legal question that the president is looking into, Leavitt answered. She said that Trump would only consider this if legal or Americans who were most violent egregious, repeated offenders of crime who nobody in this room wants living in their communities. But when y'all legalized marijuana, y'all didn't let nobody go. When y'all legalize these other people will get sent to jail for 40 years over a charge and get sent to jail for a year over disgustingly doing something to a young girl. How does that make sense? Make it make sense to me. Because Trump is saying that, the representative is saying that Trump said, which is also hearsay. Well, no, she's saying that this would only be considered for people that are violent, egregious, repeated offenders who nobody wants in their communities. What's the definition of a repeated offender? Because from what I know, like, Trump has... Now, I don't got no problem with Trump. I can't lie. I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't got no problem with Trump. I like his honesty. I like the fact that he out there in person. And he might be a different person behind the closed doors. I don't know. But he has been the most personality-driven president that we actually know about. Trump, to me, kind of woke the White House up to say this is what's happening. It went Obama, then it went Trump. Like, the White House was really just old white men at one point. And it was just like, oh, this is another white president. Like, for a second, the Bushes had so much of the White House, it was like, the Bushes gonna win again? Like, we're gonna keep them in power again? Like, oh, the Bushes gonna win. This is the Bushes nation. So, Barack Obama being the first black / African-American, whatever you want to say it as, his nationality, or his race, that shook the world up and made us start paying attention. Like, oh, we have a black president? What? Maybe we should pay more attention. Because for me personally, it's like, we get another white one. No respect to white people. Disrespect to white people. But I want to see somebody that looks like me in the White House, yeah, but I never thought that day would come. So going from Obama to coming to Trump, Trump is like super vocal and sometimes a little egregious himself. What are you doing? With the little tax fraud stuff with the IRS, you got out of that. So it's like, what do we consider to be people that are repeat offenders that nobody wants in their communities? Because if we say that, then Trump would low-key be one of them. Honestly. I'm not saying that to hate on the man, because honestly, if Trump invited me to a rally, I would go. I would speak. I would say it. I'll be honest. I'm not going to be disrespectful. But I would say, these things have helped me in my life, and I'm grateful. People say, oh, you're stupid, you don't know the law. Well, that stimulus check sure knew the law, and I was good. People say, oh, well, I won't put that into place. I don't know, because I really don't follow the law. I just like reporting this stuff because it's fun, and it's a passion of mine. And so, but I know what served me during that time was Obama and Trump, because everybody before that was on that Kanye time when he said Bush don't like black people. I'm just saying. So, asked to explain the administration's view of the law, Liviette said, we're looking at it, and when I have more to share, I certainly will. They're looking at it. It's going to be wild if this gets passed, because we're going to get into that. The Trump administration has already deported more than 200 alleged foreign citizen gang members from the United States to El Salvador, where they are in prison. Wait, the Trump administration has already deported more than 200 it says alleged. It doesn't say, oh yeah, 200 undocumented aliens, because that's how they verb it. That's how they put it into words. This thing said the Trump administration has already deported more than 200 alleged. Alleged means, let me Google it so I can break it down. But alleged means it could have happened, it could have not. They could have been illegal, they could have not been illegal. Literally. The definition of alleged said without proof, to have taken place, or to have specified illegal or desirable quality. So these people that they put in jail, the over more than 200 people that they put in jail for being alleged foreign citizen gang members, they don't have much proof on them. And they're putting them in an El Salvadorian prison. What's going on? Trump on Monday said he would like to send homegrown criminals to the notorious prison in El Salvador, where the United States has already deported some non-citizens. Probably got a wink wink behind that. Trump administration officials told reporters in the Oval Office that they could not compel El Salvador to return Mr. Garcia, who was deported from the United States country as a result. Oh wait, we already read that. Okay, no, we didn't. I guess they repeated that. The El Salvador president, Nayib Bukele, who was seated next to Trump during his press event, said he would not release Garbo Garcia. Okay, that's okay, so he's in El Salvador, who the U.S. alleges to be a member of MS-13. His lawyers say Garcia's lawyers denied that he belongs to the gang. The U.S. Supreme Court on Thursday upheld a federal district court judge's order that the Trump administration facilitate the return of Garbo Garcia to the United States. This man, he is lit. This man's lawyers. Okay, this alleged MS-13 gang member was deported to El Salvador to go to jail there. But for some reason, the U.S. wants him back here. He was a U.S. citizen, but for some reason, due to an admitted admin error, he got deported to El Salvador. I wonder what that admitted. I don't know what it was. So he got deported to El Salvador, but America wants him back because he had U.S. citizenship. Why do we want him back so bad? Who is this guy? Let's see. Let me see. You gonna scare me? Shoot. Let me see.
All right. You got a bunch of people in here, don't you?
It's 1%. Yes. It's 1%. Yes.
Gotcha. Where are you working at?
Where?
Where?
San Luis, Missouri.
Missouri?
San
Yes,
Luis,
sir.
Missouri.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm from Maryland.
The reason I stopped you, we was running 75 down through here.
75?
Yeah. Of course, this is 65 through here.
This is 70.
Going 70?
Yeah,
he was going 10
what's the limit right now? 70 or 65?
It's 65.
70 or 65? It's 65. I can see it, so.
You got all your
Because
info?
I see the order, the speed limit, I see the speed limit.
Yeah, it jumps up and down.
Yeah, it jumps up and down.
Yeah, your driver's license, your registration, and your proof of insurance.
Oh my God. Okay, so
What?
the problem with my license right now is expired, right?
It's suspended?
Suspended because I have my permanent employment, so like 2 years experience. So I need to. So right now I'm waiting the paper for immigration for I go to the MBA. So you know the MBA. So you know.
He said,
That car is my show. It's to my boss.
So where do y'all live at?
Where I live? I live in Maryland.
Maryland?
Yeah, also.
Whose vehicle is it? Whose car is it?
It's to my boss.
The boss. Where's he live? Where's your boss live?
My boss right now is staying in Maryland, but he lives in Texas. Houston, Texas.
Have you got the proof of insurance?
Yeah, I don't know where to put it, my board. Yeah, I don't know where to put it, my board. Let me call.
So where are you guys coming from right now? Where are you coming from? Where are you coming from?
I work in San Luis. So right now I work in San Luis. There's not clinic. So I go back to the high to Maryland. Next week, I go maybe next week, the other project.
I thought you was going to Missouri.
The next project, I told you, the next project, the next project is I'm going, everybody going to nice school. The next project, nice school.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do y'all do?
Huh?
What kind of work is it?
It's construction, like remuneration, driveway, everything like that.
Does anybody else have a driver's license?
Driver license?
Nobody.
Only me.
Can you find your insurance?
You can't tell insurance. You say?
Your insurance. Can you find it?
I call my boss because I don't know where to put the car.
Okay. I'm gonna go back here and run your license and stuff real quick, okay? I'll be right back. How dark are your windows? How dark's the back windows?
You know what you got here, right? He's hauling these people for money. That's what he's doing. But sometimes they commingle dope. There's 8 people in there.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that. They put an extra row of seats in there.
Yeah. So he's getting paid to haul these people, probably to Maryland, I would say, if I had my
He
guess.
said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, and you?
All right.
Everything good?
You got a bunch of people in here, don't you?
It's 1 for sick. Yes. Go back to work.
Gotcha. Where are you working at?
Where?
Where?
San Luis, Missouri.
Missouri?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I'm from Maryland.
Okay. Now the reason I stopped you, we was running 75 down through here.
75?
Yeah. Of course, this is 65 through here.
I know. I'm going to 70.
Going 70?
Yeah. What's the limit right now? Is 70 or 65?
It's 65.
I can see it, sir.
You got all your
Because
info.
I see the other the speed limit. I see the 70.
Yeah, it jumps up and down.
Not bad. Yeah, not bad. Give me my license.
Yeah, your driver's license, your registration, and your proof of insurance.
Oh my God. Okay, sure.
The what?
The problem with my license right now is expired, right?
It's suspended?
Suspended because I have my permanent employment, so like 2 years experience. So I need. So right now I waiting the paper for migration. For I go to the MBA. So you know. That car no is mine, so it's to my boss.
So where do y'all live at?
Where I live in? I live in Maryland.
Maryland?
Yeah, Oxon.
6636.
Whose vehicle is it?
What, excuse me?
Whose car is it?
It's to my boss.
Transfer to
Your boss.
license in
My boss, yeah.
2016.
Where's he live?
negative on
Where's your
valid
boss live?
details
My boss right now is staying in Maryland, but he lives in Texas.
Okay.
Houston, Texas.
Have you got the proof of insurance?
Yeah, I don't know where to put it. My boss. Let me call.
So where are you guys coming from right now? Where are you coming from?
From San Luis. So I work in San Luis. So right now, finished. That place finished. So I go back. Everybody go back to the house to Maryland. Next week, I go make it tonight with the other project.
I thought you was going to Missouri.
The next project, I told you, the next project next week is I'm going. Everybody going to Niceville. The next project, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do y'all do?
Huh?
What kind of work is it?
It's construction, like remoderation, painting, drywall, everything like that.
Does anybody else have a driver's license?
Driver license?
Yeah.
No,
Nobody?
only me, so it's there for real.
Can you find your insurance?
Si pueden buscar el insurance. You say?
Your insurance, can you find it?
I call my boss because I don't know where put the car.
Okay. I'm gonna go back here and run your license and stuff real quick, okay? I'll be right back. How dark are your windows?
Huh?
How dark's the back windows?
Window?
Stand by. How dark are they?
The color.
Yeah.
From Texas is good.
How many rows have you got in here? 4?
Where?
4 seats? 4 rows of seats?
Yeah, it's three seats. Yeah, with it. Yeah.
Did y'all put an extra one in?
Huh?
Did y'all put another one in?
No.
Did it come like this?
It's the truck.
I've never seen one with that many seats in it.
What you say? It's my boss.
I said I've never seen one with that many seats
Oh,
in
really?
it. Yeah. That's why I was asking if you'd put an extra one in.
No, it's the same. Like this.
Okay.
You know what you got, right?
Huh?
You know what you got here, right?
No.
He's hauling these people for money, is what he's doing. But sometimes they commingle dope.
No. But
He,
did you see how squad at the back?
there's 8 people in there.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that. They put an extra row of seats in there.
Yeah. So he's getting paid to haul these people, probably to Maryland, I would say, if I had my guess.
He said that.
Guess they didn't like that. I don't know what's going on in
Do
the
you
U.S.
remember
honestly.
that
So much things
80s
go on every
Dunkin'
single day.
Donuts commercial
Who am I
where
to
the
stress
alarm
myself
clock
out?
goes off?
Who am I to stress myself out? All right, so let's continue. This story is getting a little boring, so let's get to the good stuff. Okay, Trump deported U.S. citizens to El Salvador. Let's get back to it. 5 things you should know. So as we get back into it, 5 takeaways from the Times explanation of the El Salvador prison deal. Internal documents and interviews with people familiar with the operation reveal how the White House seized on wartime law to accelerate immigration deportations. This is all about money. When was this article published? This article was published yesterday, April 30th. So perfect. So, okay, so look at this. So, because the last one was the 12th, this one is the 30th. So we're moving forward. So this is a picture of President Trump and the El Salvadorian president. President Trump's deportation in March of more than 200 alleged gang members from Venezuela to a maximum security prison in El Salvador has emerged a flashpoint in his administration's use of wartime powers to expel immigrants. Okay, y'all, I'm starting to get tried by this story for real, because it seemed like Trump was using like a wartime act that we already had in practice to send these people to different prisons, whatever he wants to do, I guess, for money. I don't know what the end game is, but it's always about money. Lawyers for those deported say the March 15th operation circumvented due to process and swept up those who were not gang. Oh, dang! They swept up people that were not gang members and just called them gang members, because honestly, they probably just looked like it. Like being Spanish, being Mexican is like The new black. For real. Either a gang member or you a construction worker. That's how they look at Mexicans and Spanish people sometimes. And it sucks, but that's the truth, man. This is a truthful place. That's how they look at that's how some people look at Mexicans. As a construction worker or as a tamale maker or not even that sometimes. Or just automatically look at a Spanish person and they say, oh, they illegal. A Mexican person, they illegal. They could have been born here. Like, what? Lawyers for those deported say the Supreme Court is now poised to weigh in on how the White House has sought to apply the Aliens Enemies Act, which had previously only been invoked by presidents in time of war. Dang. A team of reporters from the New York Times reviewed court filings and government documents and interviewed government officials and lawyers for deportees and their relatives to reconstruct how the United States secured the deal with El Salvador and seize on the law to supercharge its deportation efforts. Let's see. And seize on the law? What that mean? Okay, so when the Supreme Court, what is posed? Okay, so are they saying that the Supreme Court is now in the position to weigh in on how the White House has used the Alien Enemies Act, and they've stopped it from happening because they feel that this has been like a loophole to deport people from one place to another that Trump wants them to go. Okay, that's what I'm taking away from the article. El Salvador president pressed for the U.S. for assurance that the deportees had gang ties. Now, remember earlier how we talked about it said alleged gang members? The Salvadorian president wanted this to be just for people that had gang ties. But they're saying alleged. So they really don't know. They could be picking the biggest and the strongest. For real. And that's the saddest part. The president of El Salvador, Bukele, has championed President Trump and his immigration agenda and publicly celebrated the arrival of the deportees from the United States. But behind the scenes, Mr. Bukele expressed concern about whom the United States sent to be imprisoned in his new terrorism confinement center, known as the ECOT, according to the... Hold about, wait a minute, what? During the negotiations, I'm gonna call him Mr. B, told United States officials he would take only what was described as convicted criminals from other countries. He made it clear that he did not want immigrants from other nations whose only crime was being in the United States illegally. Almost immediately after deportation, a senior U.S. official told colleagues that Mr. B wanted evidence that all 238 Venezuelans sent to El Salvador are members of Tren de Agrula, a transnational gang with roots in Venezuela, as the Trump administration had promised. Okay, so this president is smart. He said, President B from Venezuela said, hey, yo, Trump, if you're going to send these people over here, I got to watch your back. President B said from Venezuela, he said, if you're going to send these people over here, I need the proof to say that, hey, these people are gangs. You're not going to just send anybody over here to my new building that's not made for them. Because let's find this building. What the heck is the terrorism? What? I never heard of that in my life. Terrorism is a maximum security prison. The CECOT, the Terrorism Confinement Center, is a maximum security prison in Tecoluca, El Salvador. The prison was built in late 2022 amid a large gang still cracked down in the country. Ooh. I found a video. Okay. I'm still 4-minute video, so I'm not gonna watch the whole thing.
When we first walked in to these halls, CECOT was a powerful symbol across Latin America. But now since folks in the U.S. are far more familiar with what's happening here because it has a direct connection. Last time we were here, there were about 80 or so people per cell. I'm looking right now, and it's already 70 who have come out. And they've probably got another 30 plus. So you're talking more than 100 people in some of these cells now. And the director has told me they've increased the prison population because more arrests have taken place within this country.
Built to isolate El Salvador's most dangerous criminals, the Center for Terrorism Confinement, or CECOT, opened in early 2023 as the centerpiece of President Nayib Bukele's anti-gang crackdown.
Buenos días.
Why are there more people here?
El régimen de excepción no finaliza hasta que el último pandillero que está en la calle sea capturado.
It says the state of exception, essentially the state of emergency that's been declared under President Bukele going back 2022, will not end until the last gang member has been taken from the communities and brought here to CECOT. This is a court hearing. When we first walked in to these halls, CECOT was a powerful symbol across Latin America. But now since folks in the U.S. are far more familiar with what's happening here because it has a direct connection. Last time we were here, there were about 80 or so people per cell. I'm looking right now, and it's already 70 who have come out, and they've probably got another 30 plus. So you're talking more than 100 people in some of these cells now. And the director has told me they've increased the prison population because more arrests have taken place within this country.
Built to isolate El Salvador's most dangerous criminals, the Center for Terrorism Confinement, or CECOT, opened in early 2023 as the centerpiece of President Nayib Bukele's anti-gang crackdown.
Buenos días.
Why are there more people here?
El régimen de excepción no finaliza hasta que el último pandillero que está en la calle sea capturado.
He says the state of exception, essentially the state of emergency that's been declared under President Bukele going back 2022, will not end until the last gang member has been taken from the communities and brought here to CECOT. This is a hearing that's playing out right now. This is a preliminary hearing that's playing out. There's one in there, and this one hasn't yet started. We can look and see. Anderson Cooper last night was asking me, is everyone in CECOT convicted?
No todos. Muchos.
Garcia says many here have been convicted, but others are still going through the judicial process. And when we ask, he does allow us to sit in on what appears to be court hearings underway.
I hear you when you say that there are people who have done horrible things, but is it possible that there are people who are innocent as well in here?
Toda la gente que está acá.
Garcia claims every person in CECOT is an active member of a terrorist organization.
And you're confident that that's the case?
Es correcto.
Critics have said there's a lack of due process, so it's impossible to say for sure.
Questions have been raised about that severity of treatment, and it is seen certainly as harsh. But when you talk to Salvadorans, they say, yes, perhaps harsh, but totally necessary to have eradicated the gangs and to keep them out. The question is that same level of treatment necessary when it comes to the deportees that are coming here from, say, the U.S.? But if you look just straight down there at the very end, that's Sector 8. That's where the deportees, including those from Tren de Aragua, are being held. We cannot go into that sector. When I ask why, he says it's not part of this approved tour.
Toda la población interna vive en las mismas condiciones.
He said everybody's got the same conditions. It doesn't matter where you are, including Sector 8. There are 4 zones, and in each zone you have 2 modules, the sectors that have also within them the cells, and they can have up to 5,000 prisoners within each module.
That's a maximum capacity of 40,000, which Garcia says they're getting closer to, but he adds they still have sufficient space. He won't give the exact prison population for security reasons, he says.
Sakat isn't just a prison. It's a message from this government to the gangs and really to the rest of the world. For critics, this is a place where rights vanish. But for supporters, of which there are many, including the leaders here and many of the people who live in this country, this place is a symbol of freedom, newfound freedom as they see it. For them to see this exist in the way it does, while some may perceive it as harsh, they see it as the only reason they're able to walk freely outside these gates and not live in fear for most of their lives. Gracias.
But we're going to get to what happened today. So what happened today? So today, May 1st, 2025. This is at May 1st, 2025. This is at 7:06 a.m. Representative Eric Swalwell on Wednesday claimed that the House of Representatives voted to allow President Trump's administration to deport U.S. citizens to a foreign country. California Rep.
All right, you're not going to believe this. I'm just outside the House Judiciary Committee, and actually, I got a guy here who wants to say hi. Hold on. I'll take a picture with you real quick. I'm doing an Insta Live right now. You're on an Insta Live, but I'll get back to it in a second. Hop in.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks to you guys. Of course, thank you. All right. House Judiciary Committee right now. You're not going to believe this. I'm stunned that I have to tell you this. Republicans just voted, every single one of them, to allow Donald Trump to deport U.S. citizens. Not like deport unlawful, violent immigrants. No. They just voted in our committee to allow Donald Trump to deport U.S. citizens. That's where this is going. They just voted to allow that. I've never thought I would see this before. I never thought it would come to this, but that's where we are. All right, you're not going to believe this. I'm just outside the House Judiciary Committee, and actually, I got a guy here who wants to say hi. Hold on. I'll take a picture with you real quick. I'm doing an Insta Live right now. You're on an Insta Live, but right now. And so just on the other side of these doors is the hearing that I'm in right now. I'm going to get back in a second because we're still voting on other matters, but it's not shocking because this is always where it was going to go. But that's a dictatorship. That's a dictatorship. It's a fucking dictatorship when you allow a president to deport your own constituents.
Eric Swalwell on Wednesday claimed that House Representatives voted to allow President Trump administration to deport U.S. citizens to foreign countries. This only comes days after the federal government was accused of deporting a 2-year-old U.S. citizen to Honduras. Bro, what is happening? A 2-year-old with no meaningful process? They took a 2-year-old child and took him to the... District Judge Terry Doughty said that the children appear to have been released in Honduras, although along with Honduran birth mother and sister. Okay, now, because they make it seem like they just... Republicans just voted to allow, this is a quote, from Eric's Twitter. Republicans just voted to allow Trump to deport U.S. citizens to a foreign country. Now they won't protect veterans from being fired at the Department of Justice just for the sake of government efficiency.
Now, My Republican colleagues just showed that they will not protect U.S. citizens from being deported. They just voted to allow Donald Trump to deport U.S. citizens. The same week that Donald Trump deported a 4-year-old child citizen battling cancer.
I'm the investigator, and I'll see you guys another day.